Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, the home of rare and valuable Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coins. Here we explore pennies found in bad, circulated, and fine condition that could still be worth big money. From hidden errors to surprising auction values, every coin has a story. Our first coin, the 1990 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with a large date variety. Even when this coin is found in circulated condition with scratches and visible wear, some rare examples have been valued at extremely high prices depending on the rarity of the variety and the demand among collectors. The Lincoln 1-cent coin is one of the most recognizable coins ever produced in the United States. The design shows the famous President Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. For more than a century, the Lincoln cent has remained one of the most collected coins in American history. Billions of these pennies have been produced by the United States Mint, and most of them are still only worth their face value. However, a few rare varieties and minting errors have turned ordinary pennies into incredible treasures worth thousands and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1990 Lincoln cent is a coin many people still have in jars, piggy banks, or old collections. At first glance, it looks completely normal. The coin features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse side. But among the millions of coins produced that year, a few unusual varieties appeared that caught the attention of serious coin collectors. One of these is the large date variety that experts carefully study when examining 1990 pennies. The term large date refers to the size and style of the numbers used in the year printed on the coin. In some cases during mint production, different dies are used to strike coins. These dies can produce subtle differences in the size and shape of the date numbers. Most people would never notice this difference unless they compare coins side by side or study them with magnification. But experienced collectors know that even a tiny variation in the date can make a coin far more valuable than its normal version. During the minting process, coins are struck by powerful machines using metal dies. If a die is slightly different or modified during production, it can create a new variety of the coin. Sometimes only a small number of coins are produced with that particular die before it is replaced. When collectors later discover these unusual varieties, they become highly desirable because of their rarity. For the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent coin, collectors have identified examples where the large date style appears in unusual die combinations. These coins are extremely difficult to find today because most circulated normally for years before anyone realized their uniqueness. By the time collectors started searching for them, many had already been lost, damaged, or mixed with billions of ordinary pennies. Now imagine finding one of these rare coins in circulated condition. The coin might show scratches, worn details, and discoloration from years of use. Normally such damage would reduce the value of a coin significantly. However, rarity can sometimes outweigh condition in the world of coin collecting. When a coin variety is extremely rare, even a worn example can attract huge attention from collectors and auction houses. Coin auctions around the world have demonstrated that rare pennies can sell for astonishing prices. Wealthy collectors compete to add unique coins to their collections, especially coins that are difficult to locate. When two or more serious collectors want the same coin, the price can rise dramatically during bidding. This is how some pennies that originally cost just 1 cent have reached values of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Experts estimate that a rare 1990 Lincoln 1-cent large date variety could reach values approaching $150,000 in a competitive auction environment if the coin possesses the correct rare characteristics that collectors seek. The combination of rarity, collector demand, and historical interest plays a huge role in determining the final price. Many people wonder how they can identify whether their 1990 penny is special or not. The first step is to carefully examine the date. On a large date variety, the numbers in the year appear slightly bigger and more bold compared to other versions. The shape of the numbers, especially the 9 and the 0, can also look slightly different depending on the die used to strike the coin. Because these differences are very small, collectors often use magnifying glasses or microscopes to inspect the coin closely. Another important step is comparing the coin with known examples. Coin collectors often study detailed photographs or coin guides to see how rare varieties differ from normal coins. Even the spacing between numbers or the thickness of the lettering can reveal whether a coin might be special. If someone believes they have discovered a rare coin, the best step is to have it examined by a professional coin grading service. Professional graders evaluate coins carefully, confirm their authenticity, and assign a grade based on the coin's condition. Once a coin is certified by a respected grading company, collectors feel more confident bidding on it at auction. It is important to understand that not every 1990 penny will be valuable. In fact, the vast majority are still worth only 1 cent. But the exciting possibility that a rare variety could exist keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins and old collections every day. Coin hunting has become a fascinating hobby for people around the world because even the smallest coin might hide a surprising story. Stories of valuable coins found in everyday places continue to inspire collectors. Some rare coins have been discovered in pocket change, garage sales, old jars, and even inside furniture. These discoveries remind us that treasures sometimes hide in the most unexpected places. For collectors, the thrill of the hunt is just as exciting as the value of the coin itself. Searching through pennies becomes an adventure, knowing that somewhere among millions of ordinary coins there might be a rare piece worth a fortune. The 1990 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent large-date coin represents the kind of mystery and excitement that makes coin collecting so popular. It shows how a small difference in design created during the minting process can turn a simple penny into an object of great interest and value. Next coin, the 1972 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with a D mint mark and a large date style. Some rare varieties connected with this year have created huge excitement among collectors and auction houses. In extraordinary cases, certain rare versions have been talked about with potential values reaching massive amounts in the collector market. The Lincoln 1-cent coin is one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. The portrait of President Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the penny in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. It was the first American circulating coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. For decades, the Lincoln cent has remained a favorite among collectors, and billions of these coins have been produced. Most of them are only worth their face value, but a few rare varieties and minting errors have made certain pennies incredibly valuable. In 1972, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies at several mint facilities. One of those facilities was the Denver Mint, which marked its coins with a small letter D beneath the date. The 1972 D Lincoln penny was produced in extremely large numbers, meaning that most examples are still very common today. In fact, heavily circulated coins from this year are usually worth only a few cents or simply their face value. AntiquesKnowHow.com. However, what makes the 1972 penny interesting is not the ordinary coins but the rare varieties and unusual die characteristics that appeared during production. Sometimes during the minting process, a die used to strike coins develops small differences or errors. These differences can produce coins that look slightly different from normal ones. When collectors discover these unusual coins, they quickly become highly desirable because only a limited number were created. One of the most famous varieties from 1972 involves unusual die characteristics and strong doubling effects on the coin's design. These errors occur during the die-making process when the hub strikes the die more than once in slightly different positions. This creates a doubled appearance in the lettering or numbers on the coin. When this happens clearly enough to be seen, collectors call it a doubled die error. The 1972 doubled die varieties are considered some of the most well-known errors in the Lincoln cent series. CoinValueApp.com. In some cases, these doubled features appear on the numbers of the date or on words such as liberty and in God we trust. When collectors find coins with these dramatic details, they know they may be holding something special. Even though many of these coins circulated for years before being discovered, their rarity still makes them extremely attractive to collectors. The idea of a large date variety also attracts attention from coin hunters. The term large date refers to the size and style of the numbers used in the date on the coin. When different dies are used during production, the numbers may appear slightly larger, thicker, or shaped differently than on other coins. To the average person, these changes might seem invisible. But to a coin collector who studies coins under magnification, these differences can mean everything. Now imagine finding a 1972 Lincoln penny with a large date style and AD mint mark that has been heavily circulated. The coin might show scratches, faded details, and discoloration from decades of use. Normally, collectors prefer coins in perfect or near-perfect condition, but when a coin is rare enough, even a worn example can attract interest. This is one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. Sometimes rarity matters more than condition. If only a small number of coins exist with a certain die variety or unusual feature, collectors may still compete for even damaged examples. Auction houses often see intense bidding battles when a rare coin appears on the market. History has shown that certain Lincoln pennies have sold for enormous amounts at auction. Some rare error pennies have reached tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on their rarity and demand. Even the 1972 double-die penny has reached auction prices above $14,000 in top condition, demonstrating how valuable unusual Lincoln cent varieties can become. CoinValueChecker.com. Because collectors are always searching for rare coins, the story of a 1972 penny potentially reaching values like $190,000 has captured the imagination of many people who check their change. While such extreme prices would usually require a unique combination of rarity, die variety, historical significance, and collector demand, the possibility itself keeps collectors searching through jars of pennies every day. One important thing to understand is that billions of 1972 pennies were produced. That means the overwhelming majority of them will never be worth more than a few cents. In circulated condition with scratches or wear, a normal 1972 penny usually has almost no extra value. Coin-identifier.com. But coin collecting is full of surprises. Many valuable coins were discovered years after they entered circulation. Some were found in pocket change, coin rolls from banks, old piggy banks, or jars stored in closets for decades. These discoveries show that rare coins sometimes hide in the most ordinary places. If someone believes they might have a rare 1972 Lincoln penny, the first step is to examine the coin carefully. Look closely at the date and the mint mark. The small letter D below the date indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. After that, collectors usually check the numbers in the date and the lettering around the coin to see if any unusual features or doubling appear. Next, coin the 1990 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with a D mint mark and a large date style. Even a circulated example with visible scratches and wear can still attract attention if it shows rare characteristics that collectors are searching for. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has one of the longest and most famous histories in American coinage. The design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic image like Lady Liberty. The portrait of Lincoln on the front was created by designer Victor David Brenner, and it has remained one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. On the reverse side of pennies minted from 1959 until 2008, the Lincoln Memorial Building appears, making these coins known as Lincoln Memorial cents. By the year 1990, billions of Lincoln pennies were being produced every year. The United States Mint operated several facilities, including the Denver Mint, which marked its coins with a small letter D beneath the date. In 1990, the Denver Mint produced more than 4.9 billion pennies, making the coin extremely common in circulation. Because of this enormous production number, most 1990 D pennies found today are still worth only their face value of 1 cent, even if they are in decent condition. CoinValueChecker.com +1. CoinTrackers.com +1. However, coin collecting is full of surprises. Even among billions of ordinary coins, rare varieties and unusual die characteristics sometimes appear. These differences may be extremely small, but collectors pay close attention to them because they can dramatically change a coin's value. One of the details that collectors often study is the date style on a coin. Slight variations in the size or shape of the numbers can occur when different dies are used during the minting process. When a coin shows a larger or thicker appearance in the numbers of the date, collectors sometimes refer to it as a large date style. During the minting process, coins are created using metal dies that strike blank pieces of metal called planchets. If a die is modified, repaired, or replaced during production, the new die can produce coins that look slightly different from earlier ones. In many cases, these differences are very small and only visible under magnification. But if collectors discover a unique variety or unusual die characteristic, it can become a highly desirable coin. The 1990 Lincoln cent with a D mint mark is an interesting example because collectors have found certain pieces with unusual surface characteristics, plating flaws, die cracks, or other striking differences. Some of these varieties have attracted attention from collectors searching through coin rolls and old collections. Even though the majority of coins from that year remain common, rare variations can sometimes create strong interest in the collector market. Now imagine finding a 1990 D Lincoln penny that has circulated for many years. The coin might show scratches, worn edges, and faded details from decades of use. Normally collectors prefer coins in perfect condition, but sometimes rarity matters more than appearance. If a coin is rare enough or shows an unusual variety, collectors may still compete to own it even when it is not in perfect shape. The coin market is driven by supply and demand. If only a few examples of a particular variety exist, collectors may be willing to pay large amounts to obtain one. Auction houses frequently see competitive bidding when a rare coin appears for sale. When several serious collectors want the same coin, the final price can climb dramatically. Throughout history, there have been many surprising auction results for Lincoln cents. Some rare varieties and mint errors have sold for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Famous examples include rare double dies, wrong metal strikes, and unusual mint mistakes. These coins prove that even a tiny penny can become extremely valuable if it is rare enough. Because of these famous sales, many coin hunters enjoy searching through rolls of pennies from banks or old jars of change. The idea that a small coin might be worth a fortune makes the hobby exciting. Every coin has the potential to be something special if it carries the right combination of rarity and collector demand. When collectors discuss a circulated 1990 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark and large date features, they imagine the possibility of a rare die variety or unusual minting characteristic that might attract strong interest at auction. In an extremely competitive market, if a coin possessed a unique and highly sought-after feature, some enthusiasts speculate that such a piece could reach astonishing theoretical values, sometimes discussed as high as $170,000. Even though such extreme values would require extraordinary rarity and collector demand, the possibility itself keeps collectors searching through pennies every day. Coin collecting is not only about the metal in the coin but also about the history, the mystery, and the excitement of discovery. If you want to check whether your 1990 penny might be unusual, the first step is to look closely at the front of the coin. The small letter D beneath the date indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Next, examine the numbers in the date carefully. Some collectors compare different coins to see whether the numbers appear slightly larger or shaped differently. Using a magnifying glass or coin loop can help reveal tiny details that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Many collectors also study online guides or coin reference books to compare their coins with known varieties. These resources show photos and descriptions that help identify unusual features. If someone believes they have discovered a rare coin, the best step is to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. Professional coin graders carefully examine coins to confirm their authenticity and assign them a grade based on condition. Once a coin is certified by a respected grading company, collectors feel more confident bidding on it. Certified coins often appear in major auctions where collectors from around the world participate. These auctions can produce surprising results when rare coins are involved. Sometimes a coin that once circulated in someone's pocket becomes a prized item in a collector's display case. Next, coin the 2017 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with a P mint mark and a large date style. Even when found in circulated condition with scratches and signs of heavy use, certain rare examples have created excitement among collectors who constantly search for unusual coins hidden in everyday change. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has been part of American coinage for more than a century. The design first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected figures in United States history. The front of the coin features Lincoln's portrait, a design created by artist Victor David Brenner. This portrait has remained on the penny for generations, making it one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. For decades, the reverse side showed the famous Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., a design that stayed on the coin from 1959 until 2008 before later reverse designs were introduced. By the time 2017 arrived, the United States Mint had already produced billions of Lincoln cents every year. These coins are struck at several mint facilities, including the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Traditionally, coins produced at Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark. But in 2017 something unusual happened. To celebrate the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint, coins struck in Philadelphia briefly carried a small P mint mark for the first time in history on circulating pennies. This small change immediately attracted attention from collectors because it marked a special moment in the history of American coinage. Because of this historical change, millions of people began examining their coins more carefully. Suddenly, the 2017 penny with the P mint mark became something collectors wanted to keep. Although the mint produced a very large number of these coins, collectors quickly realized that certain pieces might contain small variations, die differences, or unusual characteristics created during the minting process. One detail that collectors often study on coins is the style of the date. During production, different dies can sometimes create slightly different shapes or sizes in the numbers of the year. When the numbers appear thicker, wider, or slightly larger than usual, collectors sometimes refer to this as a large date style. These differences can be extremely small, and most people never notice them unless they compare multiple coins under magnification. The minting process is extremely precise, but it is not perfect. Coins are struck using heavy presses that push metal dies into blank discs called planchets. Over time, dies wear down, crack, or get replaced. When a new die is installed or adjusted, it can create subtle changes in the design. These small variations are often invisible to casual observers but fascinating to coin collectors who carefully study every detail. Now imagine finding a 2017 Lincoln penny with a P mint mark that has circulated for several years. The coin may show scratches, small dents, and signs of wear from being handled countless times. Normally collectors prefer coins that look brand new, but sometimes rarity matters more than appearance. If a coin has a rare die characteristic or unusual design variation, collectors may still value it highly even if it has been heavily circulated. The coin collecting market works much like any other collectible market. The price of a coin is determined by supply and demand. If a coin is extremely rare and many collectors want it, the price can rise dramatically. Auction houses around the world regularly sell rare coins, and competitive bidding between collectors can drive prices to astonishing levels. Over the years, there have been many surprising sales of Lincoln pennies. Some rare varieties, mint errors, or unusual strikes have sold for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. These sales remind collectors that even modern coins can become valuable if they contain something unusual or historically significant. Because the 2017 penny with the P mint mark represents a special moment in the history of the United States Mint, collectors continue to search through rolls of pennies hoping to discover unusual examples. Some enthusiasts believe that rare die variations combined with collector demand could make certain pieces extremely valuable in the future. Imagine a scenario where a rare large date variation of the 2017 P penny appears with unique die characteristics that only a few coins possess. If collectors recognize this variety as extremely rare, it could attract major attention in the coin collecting community. When a rare coin appears at auction and multiple collectors compete for it, the price can climb very quickly. In a strong auction environment, where demand is high and rarity is proven, some collectors speculate that a unique 2017 Lincoln penny with the right characteristics could reach astonishing theoretical values. Some discussions among enthusiasts imagine prices reaching as high as $60,000 if the coin were rare enough and attracted intense bidding from collectors. Even though most 2017 pennies are still worth only 1 cent, the possibility that a rare variety might exist keeps collectors interested. This excitement is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such a popular hobby around the world. People love the idea that hidden treasures might still be waiting to be discovered in ordinary pocket change. If you want to check whether your 2017 penny might be special, the first step is to look closely at the front of the coin. You should see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the year 2017. Just below the date you may notice the small letter P, indicating the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. After that, examine the numbers in the date carefully to see whether they appear larger or shaped differently compared with other coins. A magnifying glass or coin loupe can help reveal details that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Many collectors compare coins side by side to notice tiny differences in the shape of numbers, letters, or design elements. Even the smallest variation can sometimes indicate a unique die variety. If a coin appears unusual, the best step is to have it examined by a professional coin grading service. Professional graders evaluate the coin's authenticity, check for rare characteristics, and assign an official grade based on its condition. Once a coin is certified by a respected grading company, collectors are more confident about buying or bidding on it. Certified coins often appear in major auctions where collectors from around the world compete for rare pieces. These auctions can create dramatic price increases when a unique coin becomes available. Some coins that once circulated unnoticed for years later become prized collector items displayed in private collections or museums. Next coin, the 2021 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent coin with a large date style. Even when this coin is found in circulated condition with scratches and visible wear, Collectors still examine it carefully because certain rare variations can sometimes become extremely valuable in the auction market. The Lincoln penny is one of the most famous coins ever produced in the United States. The design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Before this coin was introduced, American coins usually featured symbolic images rather than real people. The portrait of Lincoln was designed by artist Victor David Brenner, and it became one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. For more than a century, the Lincoln cent has remained a favorite among collectors and everyday Americans. Over the years, the reverse side of the Lincoln penny has changed several times. From 1959 until 2008, the reverse showed the Lincoln Memorial Building. Later designs included special commemorative images representing different moments from Lincoln's life. Beginning in 2010 and continuing through recent years, the reverse of the coin shows the Union Shield design, symbolizing the unity of the United States. Even though the design has changed, the Lincoln penny has remained one of the most widely produced coins in American history. By the year 2021, billions of Lincoln pennies were being produced annually by the United States Mint. These coins were struck at different mint facilities, and they quickly entered circulation across the country. Because the production numbers were so high, most 2021 pennies are extremely common and usually worth only their face value. People receive them in stores, keep them in jars, or sometimes forget about them completely. However, the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises. During the minting process, coins are struck using metal dies that press the design into blank discs of metal called planchets. These dies can sometimes wear down, crack, or be replaced during production. When a new die is installed, small differences may appear in the design of the coin. These differences are often tiny and almost impossible to notice without magnification, but to coin collectors they can be very important. One of the details collectors often study is the date on the coin. The numbers that form the year are engraved into the die, and slight differences in the size, thickness, or shape of these numbers can occur. When the numbers appear larger or more bold than usual, collectors sometimes refer to the coin as having a large date style. These variations may not seem significant at first, but they can make a big difference in the collector market if the variety turns out to be rare. Now imagine discovering a 2021 Lincoln penny with a large date appearance that looks slightly different from others produced that year. The coin may have circulated through many hands, collecting scratches, marks, and wear along the way. Normally, collectors prefer coins that are shiny and perfectly preserved, but sometimes rarity matters more than condition. If a coin has an unusual die variety or a rare minting characteristic, collectors may still value it even when it shows heavy circulation. Coin collecting is driven by supply and demand. When a coin is rare and collectors are eager to own it, the price can rise dramatically at auction. Auction houses around the world frequently sell rare coins, and the competition between collectors can lead to astonishing prices. A coin that once circulated in someone's pocket can sometimes become a prized item worth thousands of dollars. Throughout the history of coin collecting, many Lincoln pennies have surprised the world with their value. Certain error coins, double dies, and unusual metal compositions have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. These rare pieces remind collectors that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value if it has the right combination of rarity and demand. Because of these famous discoveries, many coin enthusiasts enjoy searching through rolls of pennies from banks or examining old jars of change at home. The thrill of possibly finding a rare coin hidden among ordinary pennies keeps collectors excited. Every coin they examine could potentially be something special. The 2021 Lincoln penny has also attracted attention because collectors continue to study modern coins for new varieties. Even though the coin is relatively recent, the possibility of rare die variations makes people curious. Some collectors believe that unusual large date examples or rare die differences could eventually become valuable if they are discovered and confirmed. Imagine a scenario where only a very small number of 2021 large date Lincoln pennies exist with a unique die characteristic that collectors want. If such a coin appeared at a major auction and several collectors competed to own it, the bidding could rise quickly. Rare coins often become more valuable when two or more serious collectors decide they must have the same piece for their collection. In an extremely competitive auction environment, some enthusiasts speculate that a rare 2021 Lincoln 1-cent coin with the right unusual features could reach values discussed around $40,000. While such values would require exceptional rarity and strong collector demand, The possibility itself adds excitement to the hobby of coin collecting. Even though the majority of 2021 pennies are worth only 1 cent, collectors still examine them carefully. Sometimes the smallest difference in design can lead to the discovery of a new variety. This is why coin collectors often use magnifying glasses, microscopes, and detailed reference guides when studying their coins. If you want to check your own 2021 pennies, the first step is to look closely at the front of the coin. You will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln along with the year 2021. Study the numbers carefully and see whether they appear thicker or larger compared to other coins. Small details like this can sometimes reveal interesting variations. Using a magnifying glass can help you see tiny features that are invisible to the naked eye. Many collectors also compare several coins side by side to notice subtle differences. Even the spacing between numbers or the shape of certain letters can indicate a different die variety. If a coin appears unusual or different from typical examples, the next step is to have it examined by a professional coin grading service. Professional graders authenticate the coin, check for rare varieties, and assign a grade based on its condition. Once a coin is certified by a reputable grading company, collectors are more confident about buying or bidding on it. Certified coins often appear in major auctions where collectors from around the world compete for rare pieces. These auctions can produce surprising results when a unique coin becomes available. Sometimes a coin that circulated unnoticed for years suddenly becomes the center of attention among collectors.